2 minutes left. Archangel Michael has been trying to reach you. I order you to open this right now. A secret courier is coming your house. Open immediately, my dear child. Archangel Michael has a message for you today, so please don't skip this video. There are certain moments in life that are not created by effort, but by alignment. Moments that arrive not when we chase them, but when heaven decides we're finally ready to receive. This is one of those moments. Not random. Not accidental. Something divine is approaching you, not with chaos, but with confirmation. Not with fear, but with fulfillment. Archangel Michael has been circling your name for hours, calling gently through the unseen wind, tapping the edges of your consciousness not to frighten you, but to prepare you for something sacred, for something long awaited, for something that has already been dispatched in your name. A courier has been released, not the kind that walks on feet, but the kind that walks through spirit. Carrying not a box, but a word. A word sealed by heaven, containing truth, clarity, and the beginning of something you never imagined would find you this soon. You have been asking, when will my sign come? And now heaven answers, now. You have waited with hope trembling in your chest, wondering if the things promised to you were delayed, lost, or forgotten. But God has not forgotten. Heaven doesn't lose what belongs to the chosen. What you thought was silence was simply a pause. And what looked like a delay was divine wrapping paper being tied around a miracle too sacred to be rushed. That courier, beloved, is on its way, not by accident, but by assignment. Not because you forced it, but because your soul is ready to receive what the mind cannot always explain. Archangel Michael was not trying to warn you. He was trying to remind you. Remind you that what was sent from God cannot be intercepted by man. That what is meant for you will not arrive late, it will arrive right on time, and that time is now. You are not reading these words by chance. You are reading them because heaven finally found you still long enough to listen. This message is not about pressure, it's about presence. The presence of God standing near. The presence of angels surrounding your space. The presence of a spiritual letter with your name on it, unfolding in realms beyond paper and ink. The message says, you have carried enough. Now receive. The message says, the silence is over. The message says, you are being seen again. Deeply. Completely. Divinely. This is not the kind of seeing that comes with judgment. This is the seeing that heals. The seeing that says, I know how long you've waited, and I'm here now. Jesus is not sending this to scare you. He is sending this because your heart is ready. Because you've walked through enough shadows to finally understand what it means to walk into the light. Because the version of you reading this now is not the version that was doubting weeks ago. You've grown. You've softened. You've trusted. Even when things didn't make sense, you kept your heart open. And heaven noticed. This courier is not just bringing you news, it is bringing you honor. The kind of honor only heaven gives. The kind of reward that no one else saw you earn, but God did. The late-night prayers. The silent endurance. The selfless choices. It's all written inside that unseen envelope, sealed with gold, covered in grace, carried by light. So if your spirit has been restless lately, it's not because something is wrong. It's because something is arriving. Something holy. Something rare. Something wrapped in heaven's breath, knocking gently at your doorstep. And Archangel Michael is still here, still whispering, still standing beside you in silence, not pushing you, but urging you to open. To listen. To believe one more time. Because this time, it's real. This time, it's yours. This time, you will not be disappointed. You thought it would arrive in a box. In words. In something physical you could hold with your hands. But heaven has never worked with packaging, it works with presence. And now that secret courier is not standing at your gate, it is standing inside your chest. The knock you feel in your spirit is not stress, it's activation. The flutter in your breath is not confusion, it's confirmation. This letter was never meant to be opened with fingers, it was always meant to be opened with faith. And now, as the heavens lean closer, you feel the warmth of a word that was written before you ever knew how to spell your name, mine. Yes. That's what it says. Mine. Written by the hand of the Eternal over the essence of your soul. You were never a coincidence. You were never one of many. You were always the one. And now the courier has arrived to remind you of what you agreed to carry before you ever opened your eyes in this world. Not just survival. Not just achievement. But light. Your voice was not just made to speak. It was made to heal. Your presence was not made just to walk through rooms. It was made to shift them. And you've felt it your whole life, that weight of something divine pressing quietly against your ribs. That's not pressure. That's purpose. It's been there all along, waiting for you to stop running and start remembering. Jesus isn't trying to send you something from afar. He is in the message. His Spirit is written between every line. He is not outside of your story, He is the ink that wrote it. He is the pause between your sighs, the silence between your sentences, the strength between your steps. And He stands beside Archangel Michael now, not with force, but with fire. Not to alarm you, but to anoint you. Because the letter has been read, and heaven agrees, you are ready. You are ready to believe in what cannot be seen. You are ready to stop treating yourself like a visitor in your own miracle. You are ready to stop doubting that maybe, just maybe, the weight you carried was a sacred sign. And now Archangel Michael speaks, not with thunder, but with clarity. You don't need to prove anything anymore. You just need to stand still and receive what has already been written in your favor. You see, the courier was never just bringing information. It was bringing identity. It was not about news. It was about naming. And today, you are being called not broken, not forgotten, not late, not even strong. Today, you are being called whole. That's the real message. The whisper behind the timing. The divine behind the delay. That you don't need to become anything to be enough for God. You already are. And the moment you stop trying to fix yourself for God's approval is the moment you realize, you already had it. Every tear, every try, every time you felt like giving up but didn't, heaven noticed. And heaven replied with one silent, golden signature on your spirit, mine. So breathe, chosen one. Not because everything is figured out, but because everything is falling into place. Not outside, but inside. The courier didn't just come to your house. It came for your heart. It came to whisper what the world forgot to tell you: you belong here. You always did. And you are about to rise into something that already has your name written on it. You don't need to rush. You don't need to fear. You just need to stay open. Because the letter didn't arrive to pressure you. It arrived to position you. You always thought the distance between you and heaven was something vast. Something unreachable. Something wrapped in mystery. But what if I told you that the veil was never up there, it was always right here, in the noise, in the doubt, in the way the world taught you to forget yourself? The courier did not arrive from far away, it rose from within. From that quiet place you often silenced. From that deep knowing you often questioned. And now, that place has become a doorway. Heaven is not somewhere else. Heaven is here. Sitting in the center of your chest, rising like breath, waiting to be believed again. Jesus stands beside you, not as a figure on a cross, not as a name in a book, but as presence. A presence so tender, so loving, that your bones remember what peace feels like just by being near him. He says nothing at first, because he knows your soul is listening now. And when he does speak, it's not loud. It's sacred. I never needed you to climb mountains to find me. I was with you in the valleys. That's when the tears come, not from pain, but from remembering. Remembering that you've never been unloved. That your prayers never disappeared. That even when you felt invisible, the divine kept you visible in every sacred place that mattered. Archangel Michael has been silent too, not because he had nothing to say, but because some things are too holy to rush. And now, he steps forward, not in armor, but in light. You've done enough. Stop holding your breath for the next battle. This is not a fight anymore, it's a fulfillment. His hand rests near your shoulder, not to push you forward, but to remind you, heaven doesn't need you to prove you're ready. Heaven already declared it. And the letter? It wasn't about instructions. It was about identity. It didn't come to change you, it came to confirm you. You are not the broken one. You are not the late one. You are not the almost enough. You are the appointed one. The presence in your home has already shifted. The air feels different. Not because the world outside changed, but because you did. You stopped apologizing for the way your heart breaks deeply. You stopped shrinking just to make others feel comfortable. You stopped trying to earn what was already yours. And the moment you did, heaven moved. The moment you surrendered, the delivery came. Not with noise. Not with flashing signs. But with a gentle knowing that you are finally in alignment with the version of you God always saw. This isn't about sudden success. It's about sacred stability. You are being grounded in something that cannot be shaken. You are being handed something that cannot be stolen. And Jesus is still here, looking at you with a softness that words cannot hold. You thought the delay was a punishment. Something shifted, something deep, something quiet, something holy. This message has not just passed through your eyes, it has entered your soul. You no longer stand outside the door. You have stepped into the sanctuary. And now, with Jesus on one side and Archangel Michael on the other, you are no longer asking for a sign. You are becoming the sign. You are no longer begging heaven to come closer. Heaven is breathing through you. This isn't about receiving something new. It's about remembering something ancient, something you were born with, something life tried to bury, but heaven never forgot. You were never separated from the divine. You were simply being reintroduced to the light that never left you. The letter was not a delivery. It was an unveiling. You were not waiting for something to arrive, you were waiting for the veil to fall away. And now, the weight you carried begins to feel lighter. Not because everything has changed around you, but because everything has changed within you. There is a stillness now that cannot be shaken. A clarity that cannot be denied. A peace that doesn't ask questions. Archangel Michael speaks again, not from above, but from beside you, closer than your breath, deeper than your doubt. You don't need to keep running toward your calling. Your calling has already wrapped itself around you. It fits you like a garment you forgot you owned. Jesus steps forward, not to fix you, but to hold you. Not to correct you, but to remind you that your softness is your strength. That your delays were not disqualifications, they were divine delays so your soul could stretch enough to hold what is now arriving. He doesn't speak in sermons. He speaks in silence. And in that silence, your spirit hears the most important truth of all: you've already been forgiven. You've already been chosen. You've already been equipped. What comes next will not feel like striving. It will feel like flow. What happens now will not come from force. It will come from faith. The secret courier was not just bringing news. It was delivering activation. A reminder that the power you've been asking for is already inside you. That the waiting was not wasted. That your story is not behind. That your name has not been forgotten. That every closed door, every "not yet," every ache you survived in silence was part of this sacred alignment. You are being prepared not to impress the world, but to reflect heaven. And you don't have to try harder to be holy. You only have to be honest. Honest enough to say, "God, I'm tired of pretending. Just use me as I am." And heaven responds, "That's all I ever needed." The atmosphere around you is charged now, not with tension, but with tenderness. There are no battles left to fight in this moment. Only blessings left to receive. There is nothing to chase. Only something to welcome. What you feared might pass you by is already sitting at your feet, waiting for you to see it as yours. You are not being tested. You are being trusted. And when heaven trusts you, everything changes. The weight doesn't vanish, it transforms. The unknown doesn't disappear, it becomes sacred. You stop asking, "What if I'm not ready?" and you begin to declare, "If heaven sent this, I am." So let this be the moment where you stop striving for what's already inside you. Let this be the hour when you stop carrying a heavy heart and start carrying a holy presence. You were not just meant to survive this season. You were meant to carry the light through it. And now that light is breaking open, not from outside, but from within. You waited for years to feel this way, calm not because everything is perfect, but because your soul has stopped resisting what was always meant for you. This stillness is not ordinary. It is holy. It's what happens when heaven completes a delivery. Not in your mailbox. Not in your inbox. But in the innermost temple of your being. The courier didn't just bring you news, it brought you home to yourself. And now that the door is open, you no longer have to live like you're outside of your own destiny. You've stepped into it, not with noise or fire, but with reverence. The kind of reverence that makes you breathe softer, speak slower, trust deeper. Because now you know, God was not building the blessing apart from you. He was building you for the blessing. Jesus stands beside you, not rushing, not demanding, just being. His eyes don't look at you with correction. They look at you like you're a masterpiece that finally believes it's beautiful. The things you used to carry in shame now fall off like old skin. The lies spoken over you feel small in His presence. The heaviness that followed you in silence begins to fade, not because you escaped your past, but because you've been fully claimed by heaven. He whispers, "You are not just seen. You are celebrated. You are not just chosen. You are cherished." And something inside you softens in a way that cannot be undone. You don't need to beg anymore. You only need to belong, and heaven is making space for you without conditions. And Archangel Michael, he is no longer standing as a guard. He is kneeling beside you in agreement. He is not protecting you from attack in this moment. He is protecting the seed that just activated inside your soul. A seed of remembrance. A seed of restoration. A seed of sacred calling that doesn't need to scream to be real. He looks at you not with power, but with peace. His voice is low, but firm. You are ready now. Not to fight. Not to chase. But to walk gently into the life heaven has already assigned to you. This moment is not the beginning of a miracle. It is the middle of one. You are already inside it. You are already becoming what you prayed for. The signs are not coming, they are already here. In the way your chest feels lighter. In the way your tears fall without shame. In the way your body feels less alone even if no one is around. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. You are being reintroduced to your truest self, the version heaven wrote before anyone else had a chance to mislabel you. And this version does not carry guilt. This version carries glory. Quiet, kind, steady glory. The kind that doesn't need applause. The kind that radiates from within. The kind that turns ordinary days into sacred atmosphere. Now, the space around you feels different. And it should. You are different. Not because you learned something new, but because you remembered who you've always been. Not broken. Not overlooked. Not replaceable. You are the one heaven kept its eyes on. You are the one the courier was always meant to find. And now that it has, you don't have to do anything but say, "Yes, I receive." That's it. Not strive. Not perform. Not explain. Just receive. And as you do, the heavens respond with silence, not because nothing is happening, but because everything is. You were never meant to live waiting for someone else to validate your soul. Jesus already did. You were never meant to question if heaven saw you. Archangel Michael never took his eyes off you. And now, the message that came looking for you has not only reached you, it has rooted in you. You are not standing at the edge of destiny anymore. You are finally inside it. You are not standing at the doorway anymore. You have stepped through it. You are no longer a seeker, you are a vessel. A carrier of something holy, fragile, and rare. The courier didn't just come to bring something to you. The courier came to awaken something within you. And now, heaven isn't just watching you. It is moving through you. You are not merely someone who read a message. You are the living evidence that the message was real. The letter arrived. The silence ended. The waiting is over. There is no more striving in your breath now. Only stillness. Not the kind of stillness that comes from quitting, but the kind that comes from knowing. Knowing that you are no longer the one begging for your time to come, you are the one inside the time heaven spoke about. The things you feared you missed were never gone. They were being held until you became still enough to receive them. And now, they are resting in your spirit, not as hopes, but as inheritance. Not as promises, but as presence. Jesus is smiling now. Not because you proved anything, but because you finally stopped trying to. He doesn't need your perfection. He never did. He just wanted your permission. To step in. To hold you. To pour into you what the world tried to dry out. And now he's no longer outside the door, he is inside your breath. Inside your steps. Inside your decisions. You will feel him in the quiet now. Not as absence, but as assurance. He doesn't need to speak loudly anymore. Because now, your soul listens without resistance. And Archangel Michael, he stands behind you now. Not watching to protect, but watching in awe. Not because you need guarding, but because you have grown into your guard. You have become the atmosphere you used to pray to enter. You are the clarity you used to search for. You are the healing you wished would come from somewhere else. He doesn't carry the message anymore, you do. And as he retreats, he whispers not with warning, but with honor, mission delivered. This soul has remembered who they are.